Alright, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Andi Mawaddah with ID number 021 from PBI Class A. And here's I would like to tell you about the next part about written discourse, namely the sentence pattern. So before I already tell you about what is written discourse, how to conduct it, and others. So now we move to the sentence pattern. Sentence pattern is one thing that we need to analysis in a written discourse. So the sentence pattern itself is how the sentence connect to each other naturally. To make the pattern of the sentence become more natural, then we need the knowledge of vocabulary and grammar to convey the ideas in the text. The text itself contains sentence, while in sentence itself it have some elements. These elements provide the predictable information or the common information that already known by other people, and unpredictable information or the new information that not commonly known. These elements called theme and rhyme. Theme itself is the predictable information or the common information, and rhyme is the unpredictable information or the new information. To form a sentence in English, it must contain the theme and rhyme. The theme itself can be called as subject and rhyme is predicate. Against 2004 state about thematic progression. So thematic progression explain about how we form a sentence and another sentences, so to make it connect to each other and to make it sounds more natural when we read the sentence. So first we need to have a topics and then the explanation of the topics. This also called, the topics called theme, and the explanation we call it rhyme. So for the next sentence, the second sentence, we take the topic from the rhyme from the first sentence. So and then we give it explanation again, the rhyme again, and from this rhyme, from the second rhyme, we take the topic again to make it. We take the topic as the theme and then give explanation again or the rhyme, and so on. There are 7 types of this thematic progression. The first one is the simple linear progression or the zigzag progression. So the pattern in these progressions is an item in the rhyme and become the theme for the next sentences. It's like the first, what I said before, from we choose a topic first and then we give it explanation or the rhyme, and then from this rhyme we take an item from it and make it as the theme for the next sentence, and then we give it the explanation again, the rhyme again, and from this rhyme again we take an item from it to make the theme for the next sentence, and then the others. For example, I go to the market, and this one sentence, the theme is I, and go to the market is the rhyme or the explanation from, or the comment or explanation from in the sentence. And then For the next sentence, I take the items market as the topic or the theme for the second sentence. So the second sentence become the market located in Samata. So the market as the theme 2, and then located in Samata as the rim 2, and then so on. The next is constant progressions. This type of progressions different from the first one. It doesn't take the topic from the rim, but it takes the topic from the theme itself. It's commonly seen in fairy tale. For example, an old owl living in a oak tree. So the old owl as the theme for the sentence 1, and live in the oak tree as the rim for the sentence 1. And then doesn't take the topic for the next sentence from the rim from the live in an oak tree, but we take it from the theme, the old owl. So for the next sentence, it's become he saw incidents happen around him. We change the word old owl become he, because in fairy tale everything's become like human, and then saw incidents happening around him as the rim for the second sentence. And the next is derived hyperthematic progressions or multiple rim progression. For this type of progressions, the first paragraph starts with theme, and then there is rim after it, and for the next topic, for the next sentence, the topic for the next sentence, it doesn't take from the topic like constant progression, but from the rims. So in the rims, there are some items in it, and we make every part of the items become the next topic for the next topic for that sentence. For example, like in a paragraph, football as the modern games is played on a rectangular field with a goal post at each end by the two teams of 11 players. So there are the theme for the sentence, namely the football as modern game, and the rim itself is played on a rectangular field with a goal post at each end by two teams of 11 players. So there are three items in these rims, namely a rectangular field, a goal post at each end, and two teams of 11 players. So from these three items, it becomes the topic or the theme for the next sentences. So the topic for the second sentence, namely a rectangular field, and then the third sentence is a goal post at each end, and the fourth sentence is two teams of 11 players. The next type is splitting progressions. So the first sentence of the text starts with a theme, and then explain with a rim. But the explanation here consists unspecific item. For example, today many people are over all over the world decide to study English as a second or foreign language for many reasons. So the unspecific items here, namely it doesn't explain about what reasons, but uh, it just mention 4 reasons. It doesn't mention it clearly. What uh, what is these 4 reasons? So it same with the type before the third type, the derived hyperthematic progressions, but the explanation here is unspecific. So from these unspecific explanations, it becomes the topic for the next sentences. It usually start with like first, secondly, thirdly, and others. The next is linear constant progression. So it's the mix between simple linear progressions and constant progression. So the first sentence starts with them and rhyme, and then the second sentence, the theme for the second sentence take from the rhyme from the first sentence, and then we give it rhyme again. And for the third sentence, the inspiration for the theme, we take it from the rhymes and not from the theme again. The theme for the third sentence take from the theme and not from the rhyme again. And the next is the mixing between constant and linear progressions, but so before it's linear and constant, but now it's constant and linear. So first we take the theme for the second sentence is inspired from the theme from the first sentence itself, and then for the third sentence we take the topic or the theme from the rhyme and not from the topic. So it's different from the linear constant and constant linear. And the last one is elliptic progressions. So the sentence from this type of progressions, for the third sentence and so on, the theme we don't mention the theme again. We just give the explanation about the topic, but we doesn't state the topic clearly here, or we don't mention the topic. The pattern is similar with constant progressions, namely the first topic and then the first rhyme, and then for the second sentence we take the topic from the theme one, and then but for the third sentence we don't mention the topic, the theme again. For example, like in this text, for the past 20 years, Juliana Evans, the director of marketing for the Lumberyards, a contemporary performing arts company based in New York, has had the same flowing brown locks. Her stylist in her hometown of Washington, D.C. advised her on hair care she needs, has been trimming her hair every 12 months for as long as she can remember, always colors it the same medium brown shade, and has been creating her hairstyle for formal events. So the topic for the first sentence, namely Juliana Evans, and then the rim has had the same flowing brown locks, and then for the second sentence, the theme take from the first theme, her stylist, her in here is Juliana Evans stylist, and then we give it explanation. It becomes rim 2, and then for the third sentence it doesn't mention her stylist again, but we just mentioned about the rim has been trimmed her hair and always colors it and has been creating her hairstyle. I think that's all from me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.